One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is David Wilkinson. David is the editor-in-chief of the Oxford Review. He is also acknowledged to be one of the world's leading experts in dealing with ambiguity and uncertainty and developing emotional resilience. David teaches and conducts research at several UK universities and is the author of the Ambiguity Advantage, okay, if I get that out, What Great Leaders Are Great At. So, David, I'd like to welcome you. Well, and I think of the article that I read on your website about lean, and it was interesting because the perspective of it, okay, was dead on, okay, for one, and the perspective was very good for on the article from it, but it was, how I want to say, it was a little different than what you would get from maybe that lean Toyota manufacturing type internal person, okay? So it seemed to be a little more.
If the researchers have got some kind of skin in the game, if there's something that could cause a bias in terms of most peer-reviewed papers, they've actually got to declare it. So we know whether there's a bias built in there. They know whether they're selling their company's stuff or not. Academic researchers aren't actually allowed to do that. So it's a lot more objective. So therefore, it looks a little kind of helicopterish, but it's very useful for that because it gives you really good overview of what's going on. And a lot of the research is like that. You kind of get this real sense for either what's going on around the thing or what's actually underpinning it. So some of the research is looking at kind of causal factors. And that becomes quite important because you can actually start to see some of the connections. And you can see statistically whether there really are connections or not. And some of the research that I read, it surprises me because as a psychologist, I've built up some assumptions, but some of the latest research is really challenging some of the things that I learned as an undergraduate and kind of changing the way that I'm thinking. And it's that, that's a learning journey, and it's good for that because it challenges you.
Well, and, I'm going to go back to when we think of trees or TRIZ, whatever you want to use it, they came up with some, great research on invention and basically narrowed it down to, I think, 140 different things. And, that you can go in, you can create contradictions from, you can build evidence of your new idea very well. And it's a very rigorous approach to innovation. And that's why I don't think it's that popular. But on the other hand, what the Oxford Review, and I think you may even claim it somewhere on your website, is that most of these problems even have been solved before, okay? Why not use the information and the research based on them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a lot of people in organizations and consultants and things are trying to reinvent the wheel. And actually, most of the things that we're trying to do have been done somewhere else before and have been rigorously researched. So, you've had somebody objectively looking at whether it works or not. And yet, many organizations don't use that kind of data. And it's a real shame because it can give you a real step up. In fact, it can do quite a lot of the grunt work for you, where you're actually coming to a project already armed with loads of facts and lots of research evidence. So you know where to look and you know where you're going. And certainly some of the most impressive consultants that I've seen are very much research-based consultants. They know their job and they know what they're talking about and they know what the research says. And once they kind of know that, they're very impressive people. But they can come in and they can diagnose accurately because they're thinking from a research perspective. And I think that's incredibly powerful these days, rather than coming in just based on our experience. And I certainly know quite a lot of the research goes a bit against some of the experience that I've had. So, and it's very, very useful.
Is there something that I did not ask that you'd like to add to this conversation?
No, go to the website and try it. There's lots of kind of sign-up things. There's quite a lot of material. There's a good blog. Go and have a look. I think that's the only thing. Okay,
well, how do I find out more? Tell me what the website is.
Okay, yeah, if you go to all the W's, oxford-review.com, go there, have a look around the blog, have a look around. There's a whole load of downloads. You can sign up for the blog posts. They're posted at least once a week, usually twice a week. But also there's lots of kind of freebies, free research briefings and things like that you can sign up for. Okay. So we're very generous.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to thank you very much, Dave. Podcast will be available on Business 901 iTunes Store and Business 901 website. So I would like to thank all the listeners for listening.
Thank you, Jeff.